Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Neo. In this video, we are doing some client work. This set came out really fun and cool, so I hope you enjoy it. I am starting off with prepping her nails. She did have something on her nails before, so we just filed them all the way down. And then I re-tipped her. She wanted some short almond, maybe medium, but these are short for me, almond tips. So I'm going in with my Mia Secret dehydrator and primer, and then a coat of the Young Nails Protein Bond. So nothing crazy is happening with the acrylic today. We're doing a polish design, so I'm just going in with a very thin layer, well, not very thin, but a fairly thin layer of clear acrylic. I'm using my favorite Young Nails Core Clear and the Red Acrylics monomer. It's my favorite monomer. I love it so much. And because the nails are mostly on the shorter end, I don't need to really build up too much. And she's a type of client who doesn't like a bulkier nail. So the acrylic process isn't really anything. Most of the nails I'm just applying one, large bead and just bringing the acrylic down, cleaning up the side walls and the edge of the nail. Because it is that almond shape, so you'll see me swiping around the tip of the almond just to maintain that shape, so that when I go in for filing, there isn't much to do, because I spent most of the time making the shape that she preferred before applying any extension to the nail. So yeah, I'm just going in with the clear acrylic and giving her a nice thin coat of acrylic. And this client has ski slope nails. I don't know if you know what that means. It's kind of like when the nail the nail bed is flat, but then the nails kind of flare upwards towards like the ceiling, I guess. So I actually went in and used some clear curved tips on her. I thought that would kind of help to offset the slope of her natural nail, and she's someone, she didn't really like the fact that was happening. So I was making sure to not put too much product on the tip area, to kind of keep the majority of the product on the nail plate and around the cuticle area, so that I guess the bulk around that area would make the nail, I guess, look more flat than anything. So just something to keep in mind. Every client's different. You know, you can modify what you're going to do based on their tastes and what you think would help them, you know, achieve the best look. So I am tapping on her fingernails. They're pretty thin, so they're gonna polymerize and dry fairly quickly, but that's one way to determine if your acrylic that you applied is completely cured. Not cured, but dried. You can tap on it. If it makes that clicking sound, then you're good to go. But if it's dull or if the file even gets like sticky, that means you're not done. Just give it some time. So I'm just going in and refining that shape for her. She wanted a rounder almond, not necessarily a pointy one. So I'm just going in with a 100-180 grit file and fixing that shape for her. So normally I would go in with my 5-in-1 carbide bit and a fine, but because these nails are so thin, I didn't want any chance of taking too much product off. So I'm actually using an extra fine. It's not a safety bit, so this is something you have to be careful with, and it's fairly new, so it's kind of sharp. But I'm going in with an extra fine carbide bit just to smooth out the surface of the nail. You see me running my thumb over it, and it has that sharp edge, so I'm using it as well to clean up the cuticle area, which I did a fairly good application on, but you want to make sure that your sidewalls and your cuticle area are thin, and then the middle of the nail has most of the bulk. So I'm not really debulking because the nails are fairly thin. I'm just smoothing it out, making sure that there's no lumps and bumps, and cleaning up the cuticle area. Making sure to buff the nails because we are doing a polish design. So I didn't go in with my fine buffer after using the medium buffer. I just wanted there to be a little bit of texture so that the polish had something to grab onto, but I'm just buffing to refine the shape. So after having her wash her hands, sanitize and everything, I'm actually going in with a black nail polish. So I haven't actually done a polish design in a while, so this was kind of interesting and fun. I'm just being very careful, and I'm working in very, very thin layers to use this black polish. Black polish doesn't cure as easily under LED UV lights, so it's best to work in, especially with darker colors, with gel polish, just to work in thinner layers and to do multiple layers versus trying to get it done in one. I'm doing a nice thin layer of black polish. This is from iGel Beauty. It's called At Midnight. I will link it down below. And every finger is going to get 2 coats of this polish with a full 60-second cure in between. And we're getting closer to the fun stuff. So I am going to be top coating all 10 fingers with this glossy top coat. The magic of these nails are in the finish. So the application of the acrylic and the black gel polish isn't really the standout. The part coming up next is what I'm excited about. So I'm just top coating all 10 fingers with this glossy top coat from the two guys. It's their no wipe top coat. And then I'm gonna have her cure all 10 fingers for 60 seconds each. This design I actually saw on Instagram. I will link the artist that I saw do it first. It's now like a popular thing, so you might be seeing it around. But it's the bubble nails, and it's really exciting. It was my first time trying it. She was like, "Have you done this before?" And I was like, "No, but we're gonna figure it out together." So it was fun and interesting. I do have some mess ups in here that I didn't edit out because I think it's important and might be helpful to you all as well as I was figuring it out. But it came out great, and I learned how to like troubleshoot a little bit. So yeah, go in with a glossy top coat. You don't have to do it this way. I'm adding a glossy top coat because I am going to be adding some chrome to the nails. So she wanted a holographic chrome look, so that's what the top coat is for. I'm going to burnish that chrome into this top coat. Here we go. So I have this gorgeous, gorgeous plum colored holographic powder that I got from Amazon. I believe it's a Beatles color, but it reflects so many colors. So it's like a nice Bordeaux wine color, but it reflects orange, it reflects green. It's just really gorgeous. You see how like yellow? It's gorgeous for fall. And I really kind of want to do this set over, but on like a longer nail, because I just feel like, I mean, short nails are cute, but you know, you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm just burnishing in all of the 10 fingers with this purple chrome, holographic chrome, and I'm using a silicone applicator, I guess. You can use I've seen people using like a beauty sponge. You can use your finger, you can use like a glove on your finger. You don't have to have like a silicone applicator to do this, but just make sure that you're burnishing into a top coat, not a base coat, because base coat is sticky and it will become messy and clumpy. And you kind of want this to go on really fine, but press really hard so that you know, you're getting it in where it needs to go. I mean, just look at the colors in that. Like, it's reflecting this weird mustardy yellow, then sometimes it looks green, sometimes it looks a little like navy blue, but it's purple. It's just really, really pretty. We were feeling it, y'all. It's really, really gorgeous. So I'm brushing off any excess chrome that might be on her fingers or in her cuticle areas with this fluffy brush, nothing crazy. And now for the fun stuff. So I'm going back in with the same glossy top coat, and I'm applying a generous layer. I'm sealing the edges, and I have a bottle of water that I poured dish soap into and just a bit of water, and I gave it a good shake. Now I'm using a cuticle pusher to scoop out some of the foam, and I'm having her cure for 30 seconds in between. And then that's pretty much how you get a bubble effect. I think the bubbles kind of seep into the top coat, and it cures where the bubbles are leaving, I guess, like ridges in the nail. And then when you take it out, you get this gorgeous, gorgeous, like reptile-esque effect. The bubbles don't go away, so you do have to like tap tap. I'm just using a lint-free pad and some swipe, and I'm literally just tapping the nail because swiping doesn't really work. And this is the effect that you get. It is so gorgeous. We were both like, oh, this is so cool. It's really, really lovely. So basically I'm going to be doing that on all 10 of the fingers. So the first two pinkies went perfectly. There was no issue, right? But remember I said I shook a bottle of soap and water, and the bottle had been sitting for a while. So there was foam at the top of the bottle that I was just squeezing out a little bit. I would just squeeze the bottle and grab some foam and place it on the nail. So you don't really have to like brush it or anything. You can just place it. But as you can see, the foam is not as moist. I don't know if that makes sense. The foam was very dry by the time that I had gotten to like the second or third or fourth nail. So I was having issues that when she took her finger out, the texture wasn't there on the entire nail because the foam basically was like dry foam. And you'll see in a second, she takes out her finger and we're just kind of like, what's happening? Like there was texture on the outsides of the nail, but not over the whole nail. So we were like, okay, something's going on. So you'll see here that there's a big gap in the middle of the nail, and I'm like, wait, but where's the texture like from the pinkies? So basically what I figured out is that you have to constantly keep, I guess, redoing your foam or shaking your bottle in this case, because you need the foam to be moist. You can't use dry foam because it will not set inside of the gel top coat. So how I fixed this was I went in and added, I was really annoyed. I added another layer of the gel top coat. I shook my bottle, so I'm adding another generous layer of top coat on top of the areas specifically where, you know, I didn't get the texture that I wanted. I'm gonna shake my bottle and get like a moist foam that has like a bit of water in it, and then place it on the nail, and that's how I figured out how this would work. So just make sure that the foam that you're using is moist. I don't even know if you can tell by looking at the foam, but it's like wet foam. It's not dry foam that if you touch it just kind of like dissipates into nothing. And then it definitely worked after that. So that's a tip that I think, you know, you should keep in mind if you're gonna do the bubble effect. So this was another finger that it had happened to, that I used dry foam. You can see on the ring finger and the middle finger how like in the corner there's like a lack of texture in some places. So I did the same thing. I just went in with another layer of top coat. I made sure to use wet foam, so I like put the cover back on the bottle, shook it up real good, and then scooped out some moist foam instead of just some dry air foam that's sitting at the top of the bottle. You need the foam to be moist. And as you can see on this finger that I just redid, the texture is there and all over like it's supposed to be. So I'm redoing this finger as well because the middle finger around the middle towards the side didn't have the texture. So I shook up the bottle, added some wet foam, and was like, all right, we got this. And you'll see on this finger how the texture is there versus before. So that's just what you need to do. One other thing that I would add, just to keep in mind about this design, is the final texture. So these nails do not end up being smooth to the touch. They are very rough. The texture is very scratchy, kind of like a pumice stone, I would say. It's not extremely scratchy, but because the bubbles are very small, but it is something that you should let your clients know. She was not a fan of the texture. She loved it, but she was not a fan of the texture. She asked me to put some glossy top coat on top, and I kind of felt like if I had done that, then it would basically remove the texture, which it did. I tried it on one finger, I didn't cure, and when you add a glossy top coat on top of glossy top coat that you cured with bubbles, it fills in all of the ridges, and you basically lose the texture that you work for. So one way to remedy that is to basically paint your nail one color, do your bubbles in another color, and then you'll be able to top coat. So you won't have the texture, but you'll have the bubble. So that's something that you could do. Yeah, but I think they came out great. Here's a photo of it, and then I have an action shot for you. I hope you like this video. It was really fun and different, and I'm definitely gonna redo this on a longer set, maybe in a different color with a different chrome, you know, a different vibe. But if you like this video, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.